Hey guys, what's up? Today I am going to walk you through some website fees so that you know what you're getting into when you're setting up a new website. So, what does it cost to have a website? Your first fee that you're going to incur is your domain name. A domain name costs maybe $10 per year, 12, 15 maybe, depending on where you buy it. And if it's a premium domain name, it is going to cost more. But that is probably the smallest fee that you are going to have for your website. Next, you need hosting. Hosting is the gas in your tank. It is what gets your website out into the universe. So you need that, right? Well, there's different kinds of hosting providers and platforms and all of that. I'm going to link to some of the ones that we use and that we recommend. If you have a WordPress website, we do recommend that you have a hosting plan specifically for WordPress because your site is going to perform better and it has some tools that you need. So how much does hosting cost? Well, if you look at the lower end, it'll probably say $15 a month, something like that, $20 a month and up. It could be 50, it could be 75. It just depends on your site. Is it an e-commerce site? Is it a WordPress site? Are you going to have a lot of website traffic? We hope you do, but you may not be there yet. Remember, hosting can always be upgraded. So your domain is your address. The hosting, again, is the gas in the tank. It's what makes everything work. It's what puts your website out on the internet. So you have to have that. When you're looking at hosting, you can look at the basic plan, pro plan, business plan. That's kind of usually how they're broken up. And you can see what you think works best for yours just by reading on the host website. But you can also have your web developer make a recommendation. If you're going to work with someone professional, I would recommend talking to them first before you purchase your host plan and pick your provider because they may have a preferred provider they work with. What is the next fee? The next fee would be an SSL certificate. That is a security layer on your website that helps protect your website visitors and your own site to some degree. Used to only be for e-commerce so that your credit card information or a user's credit card information was protected when they check out. Now it's recommended that all websites have it. You may have come across it on Google when you go to a site that is labeled as not secure. That means that they don't have an SSL certificate. SSL certificates are sometimes baked in on the hosting plan in your monthly fee. Sometimes it's a separate annual fee, just depends on the host. An annual fee is typically around $250, somewhere around there. There are ways you can get it for free, but that takes a little bit more finessing, and I would only have a developer do that for you to make sure that everything is installed correctly, because this is a super important component to your website. Next, security and backup. Why do you need security on your site? Well, because unfortunately there are bots and hackers randomly hacking sites. You may think, I'm just a small business, like who wants to hack my website? I don't host any important information on there. Doesn't matter. It's totally random. Your site might be attacked just as well as anybody else's. So a security layer helps keep those bots on a distance. However, it's not a guarantee. So what you have to have in addition to that is a backup of your website. That I cannot stress how important it is to have that, because if your website is attacked and it goes down, if you don't have a backup, we have no way of getting that site back up again. Nobody's keeping a copy of your site. I mean, basically that's what a backup is. It's a copy of your site somewhere. And that's what you want, because in a worst case scenario, if you have a backup, you can get your website up again in just a day, or within the same day even. And if you don't have a backup, you don't have anything. Then you're starting completely from scratch. And we don't want that. So make sure, above all else, make sure you have a backup. It is totally worth paying for. Next, if you have a WordPress website, your plugins, which are, little software pieces that create forms and different things on your site, your plugins and your WordPress needs to be updated regularly. I would recommend having a professional do it. It is going to cost you some money, but it is totally worth it, because when you do plugin and WordPress updates, sometimes things break on your site. And if you are doing it yourself, suddenly your entire website could be broken or look really funky in best case. Worst case, it broke something and you're not even aware of it, so that you don't know that your contact form isn't working anymore. A professional developer will do those updates on an offline server. They'll do it on a test server, on a dev server, so that if something breaks, it's not actually happening on your live site, and they can test and fix that problem before they update your live website. Anytime a plugin or WordPress is updated, it leaves a loophole for hackers to get into your website. So that's why it's super, super important to keep all those things up to date. So all in all, what are we really looking at? Cost-wise, could be looking at $200 a month. That's kind of a typical fee, I would say. Maybe more, $250 up to $300, depending on the size of your site. It could be even more than that, but it is totally worth that price. Some companies will even throw in an hour of just regular updates to your site, content updates. So it could be a good deal. Think of it as insurance and maintenance, just like you have for your car. You take it in for maintenance. Anything that's valuable to you, you take care of and maintain. It's almost like an insurance. So why wouldn't you pay that for your website, which is the most important piece of your marketing? Make sure that your website is safe and that it is up to date. I'm going to link below some resources to hosts and security companies. So take a look at those and maybe they will work for you. If you have a company or developer you're working with, ask them what they recommend. Just make sure that you have that backup, please, please, for your own sake. That was it for today's update. We're working on some other videos. One of them is a domain research video, because it can be really hard to find a good domain name these days, and I have some tools for you that will make it a little bit easier. So make sure to come back for that video. That was it for today, folks, and I'll see you soon.